What is up, everybody? Happy Monday to you tuning in at the appropriate time. And again, as always, thanks for just checking in at whatever day it is right now. Maybe your significant other's watching football all day. And here we are to get you through it. I only bring that up because
that's an issue we talk about.
It's an issue we get into.
There's some real good nuggets in this one, I have to say.
Think so?
Nuggets of wisdom.
Well, thanks for saying it. We continue to learn about our audience and dating, and it's really, truly funny how people just really on all
walks of life.
All walks of life, different parts of the spectrum. Sometimes you need to be a little bit more selfish in relationships.
Crazy
idea,
but it just might work.
You'll have to listen to figure out what we mean. But before we do, natural habits, everybody, essential oils. Again, always be cognizant of what you're using to freshen your indoor air.
Yeah.
Candles are nice, aesthetically pleasing. Also, sometimes, and by sometimes I mean always, they are unfortunately filled with toxic chemicals, carcinogens. And so when you set them on fire, you are breathing things that are quite honestly not healthy for you. And if you were to put a bird next to it, it would most likely die. Not to bit.
Always got to bring up those dead birds.
I'm just saying, Febreze, plugins, these are all chemicals that you're releasing into your indoor air. It's not healthy for you or your family to breathe. Essential oils, on the other hand, have medicinal benefits, like boosting your immune system, helping you calm down, relax, relieve headaches.
And damn if they don't have sexy packaging. That's all I have to say.
Packaging. Anyways, you can get them in pure essential oils. They are great in a diffuser or warm bath. You can get a wool ball instead of a dryer sheet, which also has chemicals. And just freshen up your indoor air in a very pleasing, soothing smell.
Yeah.
Our Protect is a great blend that's going to be coming up for the holidays if you're looking for that Christmas smell. Also boost your immune system during cold season. New customers, as always, 20% off, shipping free, nhoils.com, nhoils.com. Use code NATURAL for 20% off for first-time customers. Makes a great gift. They also come in a roll-on form to take with you anywhere. Perfect for like yoga, meditation class, at the office.
Man, you're really getting me excited about this.
Essential oils. nhoils.com, Natural Habits. Follow us at Natural Habits on Instagram for a lot of great, useful tips about essential oils and how to use them and how they benefit you and your family's life.
I tried to circle back to a guy I rejected.
You rejected a guy and you...
I tried to circle back.
Why? Because you're bored?
I'm seeing that he's doing well. He's did a couple cool things, and I was like, oh, I think I underestimated him.
You shallow bee. I'm just kidding. So wait, did you ended things because he was like an unmotivated sloth?
He was a male rapper, and I just wasn't into that. I just didn't like his raps, and I didn't see it going anywhere. And now I'm like, oh wow, he's really making his dreams come true.
And now you circled back.
Wow. He didn't answer.
I'm kind of digging that you're a little more shallow than I thought.
I'm not shallow. How is that shallow?
I mean, you didn't.
If you can't support someone's dream, that's not shallow.
Hey, you don't think there's a little...
How is it shallow?
I'm giving you a hard time. I think it's totally fine. But like, you didn't say, oh, I broke up with him because I wasn't physically attractive, or he didn't treat me right, he didn't make me happy. I just didn't like what he did.
Yeah.
That's a little shallow.
Is it?
It's okay. We could be a little in the terms of like how we. If I said, I don't know, what if a girl said, or a guy, like, I don't think they made enough money, would you call that shallow?
It's not about money, though.
I'm not saying it's about money, but it's kind of in the same ballpark. Is it not? No. I'm not criticizing. I just think it's ironic and funny.
Probably. Yeah.
We can be a little shallow sometimes.
Yeah,
What's
probably.
wrong? Like, I mean, maybe shallow has the wrong connotation. You didn't like it, and now you do. But it's a little. I think that's fine. Sometimes we always try to be too righteous with what we say.
Yeah.
And he hasn't called back.
No response.
Would you reach out? You just send him a text. Sup? You up?
No, I was
Hi?
like, we should get coffee. I love to hear all the stuff you've been up to.
When you ended things, what'd you say?
I don't remember. It was so long ago.
Did you ghost him?
No, I didn't ghost him.
But you
We've
ended
seen
it.
him. I've
cut,
seen him.
You cut things off.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Did you say it was because you didn't?
No.
I don't know. And you said we should catch up. I love to hear all the things you're doing.
Yeah.
No, he knows. He knows what's up. What's the takeaway that you have from that?
I guess don't be shallow.
Well, Rochelle, I wish you all the best of luck in this endeavor.
I gotta get my feelers out for some fresh blood.
There we go.
Instead of going back to the old well.
Well, now they're getting paid. BetterHelp, Rochelle. I think we're doing some great things, but as we point out constantly, we are not professionals.
Yep, and BetterHelp.
Sometimes professional help is a great need. We talked a lot about with our friend Dean.
Yes.
Therapy.
Yes.
Whether it's grief, depression, stress, relationships that you're dealing with, having a hard time sleeping, trauma, anything. Having access and the comfort of privacy is great to have. And at BetterHelp, you can do that.
Yeah. And it's convenient. So Dean was saying he was having trouble going to therapy because he's traveling. If he had BetterHelp, he could do it from anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
In the van, in Egypt.
Yep.
You literally, as long as you have internet access.
There's really no excuse to not get the help that you need. And we're thankful that BetterHelp is there for all of us.
Absolutely. It's available worldwide, as we said. It's affordable, professional. So best of all, it's a truly affordable option. The Viall listeners get 10% off your first month with discount code VIALL. So why not get started today? Go to betterhelp.com/VIALL. Simply fill out a questionnaire to help them assess your needs and get matched with a counselor you'll love. That's betterhelp.com/VIALL. Rothy's,
I got mine on.
Looking hot, Rochelle.
Thank you. They get more and more comfortable every day that I wear them.
And why? Because you're probably putting them in the washing machine as you can do.
Yeah.
And breaks them in a little bit more.
Yeah.
They look just as fresh and clean as you had when you first got
Thank
them.
you.
Well, they're made sustainably, are they not?
They are. They're helping save the planet because your plastic water bottles are getting turned into cute shoes.
Damn, I wish they'd make them for men. Seriously.
I know. Every time I wear them, a woman's like, "Are those Rothy's?" I have Rothy's too. Like we're like a cool Rothy's club.
I've heard that plenty out here. It has become a thing.
It's the hip new trend.
And if you give any hoots about the environment, which, some more than others, but like this is like, even if you are vain and just want to look good, you can have that added bonus. Even if you don't care, you could pretend to care.
Yeah.
So anyways, to get your Rothy's, go to rothys.com/VIALL to get your new favorite flats. Comfort, style, and sustainability. These are the shoes you've been waiting for. Head to rothys.com/VIALL today.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
What's up, Shelby? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing very well. Rochelle, also, I don't want to speak for you. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Great. Shelby, what's up? How can we help?
Awesome. So I'm struggling a little bit with a girlfriend of mine.
Ooh.
And just trying to understand either how to be there for her or how to maybe guide her in a different direction than what she's going right now. So she recently moved to the town that I live in. We're friends from college and just now ultimately ended up living in the same town. And she's single and doing the whole, dating and going out thing and apps. And, she's doing all these things to position herself to potentially be in a relationship, which is what she kind of, says is what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not necessarily, doing the things that she needs to. Like a lot of her actions and the way that she's going about it, I think it's more her fault than the dating pool's fault that she's not in a relationship with, but she doesn't seem to understand that.
Such as?
So, she has this very long list of, everything that, a guy needs to be, and he needs to check all these different boxes, whether it's, his age, his looks, his height, his religious views, his political views, what he does for a living, this incredibly long list that I just don't feel like anyone's really going to live up to.
Uh-huh.
And she also, even when she does get to the point of talking to someone or meeting someone, whether it's on an app or out and about, she's very dismissive of super small things that probably don't mean anything in the long run. So I don't I don't know. I just don't really know like what to keep telling her because she keeps complaining about the fact that she can't meet anyone or she can't meet a nice guy. And
What do you say to her?
I think it's more her.
What do you when she says that? What do you say to her? That's fair.
You know, I've tried to kind of approach, her about it, a little bit in somewhat of a joking manner, but then somewhat also in like more serious manners. So like I try to give her the example of like, I'm married and she's single. And I tell her, I'm like, if I would have gone through the exact checklist of everything I would have thought my future husband would have been, I wouldn't be married right now because my husband wouldn't have made it through those filters. And just to like give people a little bit more of a chance to like get to know them. The biggest one that really just like grinds my gear is height. She like refuses to talk to anyone who's like under 6'2".
How tall is she?
She's not that tall.
Okay, she's not that tall.
She's like 5'7".
Okay, she's not that tall. But
I'm just like, does he need to be that tall?
I mean,
I don't
that's
know.
what she's into, I guess. My sister Maria is 6'2", so it was a sensitive issue for her because she had
sister's 6'2"?
Yeah, but like in growing up, she had a very much of a body complex, and we talked about this before. People called her they called her big because she's 6'2". And her husband's now like 6'1", 6 foot, but it was a big issue for her. So she's 5'7". Yeah. She shouldn't have an issue with that. How old is she?
Right.
How old is she?
She's 25.
Okay, she's still pretty young. Listen, I've talked about this before. I think when we're younger, we all have checklists, and as we get older, those checklists shrink sometimes. I joke in terms of I'm the reason I'm single, for all the things like it's not like there's a pickiness. I don't have a checklist, but like I'm the reason I'm single. I think we're all the reason we're single.
Right.
Yeah. I'm the reason I'm single.
So I think, it's all relative, but she's a pretty girl, like you, beautiful girl who's,
yeah.
You're not like friends with Quasimodo or anything like that.
Oh, Nick.
I'm just joking. We're like,
no.
Yeah, she's an average looking girl. What I'm saying is, so like, I only ask that because you could say, hey, listen, just the one thing maybe you can remind her is that you are a beautiful girl, right? You say this to her, you have a lot going for you. So when she does complain about not finding a guy, you just say like, you're the reason you're single. And I don't mean that in a mean way because you choose who you want in a sense. She's probably not going to listen to you at 25 about the checklists. I just feel like it's tough you're in a tough spot. I don't think you can do much to change her mind. I think you can kind of level with her that, just keep reminding you're single because of you. And I think it's good to remind her of your relationship. She's also different. She also doesn't have to have the same qualifications that you had. She's also only 25.
No.
Right? No. So like if she wants to, you might just maybe joke with her and say, I don't think you really want a guy. And that's fine. Maybe you want to date and maybe you want to hook up and that's totally fine too. But at the moment she really wants to settle down, she's going to have to really give someone, to your point, a chance. And she's gonna, as a 25-year-old woman who is into tall guys, let her be into tall guys. I mean, sure, you can joke, but like, if that's what she's into, there's plenty of 6'2" guys that are probably pretty nice guys. If that's what she's attracted to, then let her go for that. I think you can constantly remind her that she should just stop complaining. You can't have both high expectations and then complain about it. You should, if she wants to have a long checklist of qualifications and she wants to have quote unquote high standards, great. Then own that, right? Don't bitch about it. Like, I have high standards. I'm single because I don't necessarily agree with her checklist and I agree with you, but she doesn't necessarily have the right to play both sides. She can't say, oh, why can't I find... Yeah. She can't play the victim and then also seemingly have all these high standards. So I think you should point that out to her. Maybe she will see the kind of juxtaposition that she's talking out of both sides of her mouth. She'll be like, listen, I think it's great that you have high standards.
Right.
I think it's great that you have all these qualifications and you're young. So like, you don't need to be in a rush to find a guy, but just recognize that these are your choices. And it's not settling to be slightly, to like not give a shit if a guy's 6'1", or if his arms are a certain size, or he graduated from a certain type of college, or he does or doesn't have tattoos. All these like ancillary things that sometimes people will do when they're building their like perfect guy or girl. So I think that's I think the only thing that could possibly make sense to someone like her. And because you're not going to like tell her to not date. You can't tell her to be attracted to people who aren't tall. That's what she's attracted to. And she may eventually meet a guy who's 6 foot that sweeps her off her feet. Then she will like realize that. But right now, you're not going to change her mind most likely. I just think you should point it out to her, be like, stop complaining, because you want to wait, and that's fine. And point out that like you want to find all these things, and that's great. But those things, for everyone to have those things, it's harder to find. But you want that, so own it.
Yeah.
If she's like, well, then if she's complaining, be like, well, you get what I'm saying? Yeah, because she's definitely talking out of both sides of her mouth, so to speak.
Right. I very much agree. And I think the other part of this that I guess I didn't really mention originally was that she really doesn't have any experience in the dating pool. Like, she's gone on dates, but she's never really had a serious boyfriend. She's never been in a relationship. And so I think it's also just
at all
like me thinking like, you don't know what you don't know. But no, not at all. I mean, she dated someone for like a couple of months, like her freshman year of college. And that was her most recent relationship.
Is it just coming from being super picky, or they're like, is it a religious thing, or is it just, she could be kind of in a rut that way, where it's this list of things is almost an excuse not to.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Engage in the saddle,
We use it as an excuse so we can stay emotionally protected sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, do you think, are there other layers? I mean, you know her as a friend. Is she a virgin?
Yeah, by choice, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
So, and she's not necessarily like waiting around for marriage or whatnot, but she's got this mind point of like, she's waited this long. I think she wants to lose her virginity to someone.
This is classic Ashley I syndrome.
Right?
Ashley I.
That's a very admirable thing.
Yeah. This is classic. She sounds like Ashley I.
Yeah.
Like Ashley I, my friend Ashley, for those of you who don't know, was a virgin till late in her life. It wasn't from a religious standpoint. It was she had an absurd specific expectation of what guys should be, and that's just who she was, and it finally worked out for her. I mean,
it really did.
Wow. So she could be different that way. I think for someone like your friend, I think it seems like you're doing the right thing. Don't make her feel judged. She's probably going to eventually, the longer she doesn't date, the more awkward she's going to be on dates. And she's going to make her virginity a bigger deal. So I think it's good to be in that sense, be more supportive of, and just keep having her do what you do. Let's like go out, just try to downplay it. Just like go out, have some fun, meet some guys. Before she finds her guy, she needs to meet some guys. She just needs to meet some guys, have some fun.
Reps, man.
Yeah, get some reps. And whether it's sexually or just like having conversation, she is spending way too much time finding the guy. She needs to like experience things. But some people are different. I mean, I don't think Ashley, my friend, has an extremely limited dating life. She would go on dates but wouldn't do much. And then when she would go on dates, it would be like one date. She's married now. She finally met her guy.
Yeah.
And it's not like she has this, like, it's not like she got it out of her system. I don't think she has any regrets. That's Ashley's personality, to be like, this is what I've always wanted. And she found it. And if your friend's anything like my friend Ashley, then that's just kind of who she's going to be. So as a friend, you got to recognize that she's not you. right? So you can't get her to
Yeah.
be more chill, I guess, in the sense of being more open to a variety of different men. I would encourage her to get out of her comfort zone sometimes. Like in general, just be like, listen, it's good to go to your comfort zone. So while you're waiting for your dream guy, on a Wednesday night, just go hang out with some guys, make out with a guy or something. Like get some reps in.
Yeah.
30-day dating challenge.
What's that?
I don't know. You could just make your own dating challenge where you're like, I'm going to go on 10 dates this month. I don't care if they're monsters. I don't care if they're ugly. Just do it. Just go out.
I agree with you, but like, again, I don't know this person, but if she's anything like, that's just, some people just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Some people are just like, I don't like this guy. You know, I think even for my friend Ashley, I would always encourage her, and she sometimes took that advice before she was in a relationship, of getting her reps and just going out there, because had she not convinced her husband to marry her, she would have eventually had to have moved on, and she started doing that.
Yeah.
And so, listen, it's a tough situation because we're talking about someone I don't know and you don't know, and you can't control what she does. She's different than you. She's definitely fixated on this guy she's never met, which is, I guess, fine. But yeah, I guess just try to encourage her to do these things. I would let her know that, like, if, again, back to my original point, she can be picky, but she can still go out there, and then she should stop complaining about guys. Because my original point still plays, is that's fine if she wants to have high expectations, but doesn't mean they're not great guys. They're just not her guy. And that's because she's really focused in on this imaginary guy, which my friend Ashley certainly did. So it's tough. Be supportive, you know. It's
not
tough.
judgmental.
It's tough with friends because, like, you know, just because she's not living your life doesn't mean she's living hers. And she's only 25. Right. And I don't know where you're from. You said town.
I know.
So sometimes towns, like maybe everyone's getting married and you feel like, why isn't she married? But she is very young, and she might not meet Mr. Perfect till she's 31, 32, maybe older. And that's fine too.
33.
Right. It's just, she can't bitch about it if she wants to have these high expectations. And that and by reminding her of that might help her kind of realize that. And then if she is willing to open up to more possibilities, that might help her be like, you know what, maybe I am being a little too narrow-minded. But right now she feels like she's kind of playing this victim card, and she should take ownership of her desires. Right? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Hopefully that was helpful. I feel like I rambled a ton.
I very much agree.
Great. Well, good luck. Yeah, try not to put too much pressure on her.
Thanks.
Just remind her
probably need it.
Just remind her she can't complain. She can't complain.
Because I think that's the biggest point of contention right now, is that she's driving all of us nuts.
That you have a right to be annoyed with.
She's gonna not.
Yeah, you have the right to point that out.
Yeah,
like, hey, you're a total babe. You're super young. You have a high list. You're single because of you. You want to be single. You might also want to find Mr. Right, but until then, you are unwilling to compromise on this checklist you have, and I'm not here to tell you whether your checklist is wrong or right. It's not for me. It seems a little unrealistic, but whatever. It's your checklist. But, you know, own it. Because otherwise, like, you could have a boyfriend tomorrow if you wanted one. That's not what you want.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you can kind of point out to her, because she should be able to understand the contradiction that she's having.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, thank you guys for the advice. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it as well.
Sometimes I wonder about these women who write in about
These
their
women,
these
Rochelle?
women who write in about they're married and they're writing about their single friends. I'm like, are the single friends complaining, or are you just worried about them because they're not doing what you did?
Sometimes both, but I believe our friend here, it sounds like she's frustrated that her friend is complaining. She specifically said that.
Yeah.
If she had called in and said, I'm worried about my friend, she's single and I want her to meet a guy and I'm worried about her and her eggs are shriveling.
Right.
Then I would be like, hey, why don't you chill out? Maybe
Yeah.
your friend wants to be single.
Yeah.
Because that does happen a lot. We often will complain about, oh, I just can't find a great person. And it's just like, that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
All these people seem to be fine. I don't know if they're your person. I don't know if you're a match. I don't know if you guys get along. But what are you saying? These are all shitty people?
Right.
They all seem fine.
Yeah.
Own your shit in the sense of like, you can't play the victim.
Yes.
And then also sound like, I know what I want and I'm confident in my decisions and I'm going to like hold a hard line to the things that I expect and things I think I deserve. Great. That's good that you have expectations for yourself.
Yes.
Stop bitching about not being able to find it, you know? And sometimes we need to get out of our comfort zone a little bit. That can be my biggest problem is sometimes pre-screening a little too quickly. And then like
Your
playing
PSA is too strict.
playing out a relationship in my mind before I even have it. We all are victims of that. And I think her friend is probably doing a little bit of that. Ashley did that constantly. I mean, Ashley is a cautionary tale because she is the exception, not the rule. Yeah. And she knows that. I remind her, like, that's great that I'm so happy for her and Jared. But sometimes it doesn't work out that way. And sometimes we should always try to get out of our comfort zone. The fact that she has, she has limited experience, and in her limited experience, it sounds like not knowing this person. It comes from this very thorough list of qualifications that that she doesn't seem to be living up to. So you can only do so much, but point out the contradiction is the only way to get through to this person. Otherwise, sometimes when people are contradicting themselves, you've got to remind them of that. Otherwise, they think they don't ever see it.
Yeah.
So, all right, Carly, how's it going? Good. Well, hopefully we can make it better. Let's hear it.
All right. So I've had a boyfriend for about 2 years.
Sweet.
And everything's good. Everything's perfect. Like, he treats me really well. We communicate really well. We rarely ever fight. But I find myself sometimes insecure about just dumb things that I know are dumb. And in the moment, I'm like, Carly, just like stop. Like, what are you doing? But it still like creeps up on me sometimes. So... And I'm like a pretty empathetic person and like understanding. So that's where I get tripped up sometimes. And like, I get I shouldn't be doing this, but I end up doing it anyways. So I guess my question is that normal, first of all? And then how do I navigate through a relationship with some insecurities?
What are some of the things that you get insecure about that you think aren't warranted?
What was that? I'm sorry?
So what are some of the things that you get insecure about that you think are not warranted? Like that you think that you're making a big deal of?
Like dumb stuff like he's watching football for 3 hours or something, or I just got done like going on a trip with my friends and then I get back and then he wants to go like hang out with his friends. Okay. And like I know in my mind I'm like, that's dumb because I'm doing the same thing. But I'll sometimes just be like, ugh, bothered.
And so when he's watching, say, football for 3 hours, or he goes and hangs out with your friends after you get back from a trip, do you guys like check in terms of like, oh, I want to, like, are you saying, hey, can we do something? And he's being dismissive of you, or like, how is that like being like when you guys are separating, when you guys are hanging out, not with each other? You guys kind of just do what you want, and the other person's like, oh, I guess you're going on a trip, or I guess you're watching football. Or are you saying, hey, this is what I'm going to be doing, and are you going out of way and making time for each other?
We definitely make time for each other, and but while we're not together, we kind of just like leave each other alone because I feel like we need our alone time sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you can.
It's not specific to the friends hanging out thing. It's just like an example.
Sure.
So,
Are there any other examples?
I don't know if I can think of them off the top of my head.
We can always edit out you thinking, so like think about it. I mean, what are some of the things that piss you off enough to call in?
Well, when you express that your insecurities, how does he react?
He's pretty understanding about it, so we can talk through it and stuff, and it's fine. He's pretty understanding, and most times I do talk about it, but I guess it's more so like an internal conflict thing. Like I feel like I beat myself up over feeling like even the slightest bit insecure.
I relate to
and
this.
it drives me nuts about myself.
And when you say you're insecure, like if he's watching football, what do you mean you're insecure about that? Like, are you thinking, oh, you don't want to hang out with me because you'd rather watch football?
I guess that's what it comes down to. Maybe I'm just jealous of the attention not being on me at that point in time.
Okay, well, that's healthy to admit. And when you relate to this, I mean, help me. I don't.
Well, I guess like in my first relationship, I always felt needy.
Sure.
Like, and my needs weren't being met. And I always felt like it was my problem and I was so awful. And now, like through therapy and stuff, I'm realizing like, oh, my needs weren't being met and that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, when I say like, we've talked about this before, like, especially early on, I was the same way. First time in a relationship, I didn't really know how much should we hang out all the time? Should we do everything together? I don't know. And when you don't, I had felt that way before. It seems like you are aware of the healthy approach to having some time apart. It's just like you seem to be struggling with, even though you're aware of it when it happens. Why do you feel the way you do? I mean, that is interesting in terms of how do you stop that? I mean, again, all you can really do is try to communicate more. I mean, if you are going to go on a trip, right, with your girlfriends and you're gone for a period of time, I understand that you were gone and he can't necessarily always like revolve around your schedule. So like ideally when you're gone, he's spending time with his friends. And then when you get back, you guys spend time together. That might not always be the case logistically, but at the same time, like it is nice to just, again, communicate that are you guys going out of your way to make time for each other and talking about that? And then, listen, sometimes in relationships, everyone can be a little selfish and you have to be a little selfless at times. And so if you're going to travel, like, is it reasonable to say like, well, listen, go do the thing with your friends and make time for me when I'm back because I miss you? It doesn't always work that way. As long as you're being reasonable about it.
Did you ask him when you came back did you tell him you wanted to spend time with him?
I don't know. I feel like this is just an example, so I'm like not 100% like fixated on that part. But yeah, I feel like I'm still like pretty communicative. I guess I just feel dumb about getting jealous. And
when you say jealous, what are you jealous of? Is jealous the right word? I don't know. Maybe it is. But like to me, if you're jealous of something, it's whether it's another person or the attention they're giving, like you seem to be aware of the fact that he has other interests, right? So what exactly are you jealous of?
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
Are you like overly self-critical about like how your feelings? I mean, I don't know.
I guess so. I overthink a lot, so maybe this comes into play with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I try to do that or be like the best I can, like to the other person. So, I mean, everybody does that, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know the answer to that question.
I mean, listen, you're not giving us a ton, but my guess is maybe there's, you haven't figured out yet, but when I always like, when people feel insecure or jealous, when people feel jealous, it's because they feel insecure. Now that insecurity can come from themselves, like which it seems like you're saying it comes from within, and it might come from the other person. You can be a very confident person who's not normally jealous of something, but if you're dating someone who's like doing some shit and it's just like, I'm just feeling really insecure, it can bring out the jealousy in you, even though you're not naturally a jealous person. Some people are just naturally jealous and like they create situations that just aren't there. I honestly don't know which one it is for you. But whatever it is, I think you need to figure out what it is you're insecure about so you stop being jealous. If it is just recognizing that, and maybe he's like, not that he's doing anything wrong or he's a bad boyfriend, but he might not be filling some need that you have.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just
And it's okay to have needs, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen, if I love watching football.
I guess that's what I'm struggling with.
And I'm
more so. It's like feeling like asking.
I'm watching, like I feel like a lot of our listeners will might relate is that football season's upon us, right? I'm single, so like for on a Sunday, other than questions with Nick, I'm just like sitting on the couch for 8 hours.
And you're not feeling guilty, are you?
Goddamn heaven, right? When I'm in a relationship, I don't like I'm a Packer fan, so then it's just like, all right, well. I'm watching the Packers. You are welcome to. You don't have to. I would love you to watch it with me, but by no means feel like you need to. But I recognize that I can't necessarily in a relationship expect to be like unavailable every Sunday afternoon anytime football's on. I don't know if this is going on, but you have the right in a relationship to point out, I mean, listen, I want to be reasonable here, but like, do you really need to do all this? Right? Don't spend so much time being so empathetic and being the best girlfriend you can be and not express to him the things that you want him to do. Don't try to be the super cool girlfriend all the time and then feel like your needs are constantly never being met. And that sounds like, I'm guessing with not getting a ton of information from you, is that maybe you're fixated on being the best girlfriend ever. Ooh. And at some point, and it doesn't make him a bad guy, your needs are not being met. It might be your fault because you're not ever expressing them to him.
Yeah.
You might not be ever saying, listen, it's cool if you want to watch your game, but like, I mean, listen, let's go do some shit on a Sunday and you cannot watch, the red zone all day long, So, and then again, it's good that you are recognizing I take trips too. So again, in a relationship, it's good to be selfless, but every time you have the right to be a little selfish from time to time, as long as you're both kind of like, all right, this is what I want right now. And are you guys both willing to compromise? And are you both willing to be selfless because the other person at times wants their selfish needs met? And it's a balance. And if you're spending all this time being the coolest girl ever, you're going to constantly feel like your needs aren't being met. And my guess is that's where it's coming from. Yeah. This jealousy and insecurity is that you feel like, well, I mean, he's not doing anything wrong. I mean, every guy likes football, And
then you turn it on yourself and you start hating yourself. That's not okay.
Yeah, that's not okay. So that's my guess. So express to him when you want to hang out. And even if you are being a little selfish, that's okay from time to time. You can be like, I don't watch football all day long. Watch one game.
This is my only day off.
I took a trip for 4 days, and I understand, but like, why weren't you hanging with your guy friends then? I want to. Aren't you excited? You have the right. Listen, if you can't voice your needs in a relationship, it's not going to work out.
Sorry, I'm relating hard.
Every time Rochelle asks me for something, she apologizes before she asks.
You always gotta call me out.
Yeah, I mean, like...
But yeah, I have a hard time expressing my needs, but I feel like I was raised to be like a very like accommodating person, and it ultimately doesn't work out for anybody.
No.
Like, it's not good for the other person either.
Guys aren't looking for an overly accommodating person. There's a huge difference between like dating someone who's chill and cool versus like feeling like you can always do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Guys aren't into that.
Nope.
Right? And we are human. Yeah. So if that, give us an inch, we'll take a foot. Like, We're human. We will all do that. Like we don't even realize it. And and nip it in the bud, so to speak, because you are setting an expectation that he's getting used to. And then someday you're going to be like, well, I don't want to do this. He's like, whoa, what the fuck? Where the fuck is this coming from? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And he's going to feel justified because he's like, wait, when has this ever been a problem?
Yeah, I'll throw a tantrum.
You're kind of creating a monster, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it sounds like he's a totally...
Yeah.
You
nip it in the bud. I love that.
express what you want. You both should be able to talk about what you want, and you should both be able to expect the other person from time to time to act selflessly to meet your selfish needs.
All right.
And there should be a balance, So
It's crazy how you get it every time.
use that voice.
Gets it every time, huh?
Even when you don't give me anything. I'm just trying to like that.
I know, but you still got it. Doesn't even say anything. So I'm like, what the heck? Oh, man.
A beautiful mind.
All right. Well, thank you for calling again. Best of luck. Use that voice.
Thank you.
All right.
See ya.
Take care. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's okay to have needs. We sometimes feel like
Well, I mean, we've talked about this a lot. I mean, that's been my biggest
I
takeaway
know.
with Questions with Nick and
I
this
know.
podcast is women are spending more time making sure they're getting what they want. I mean, I'm sorry, that they're liked by their guy.
yeah.
They have to be the coolest girlfriend. I mean, I don't have a lot of experience dating women like that. Only because like but I love a woman who uses her voice, but
Yeah.
sometimes a little, but also it's interesting when I will never forget when I was in high school. I didn't really have a girlfriend in high school,
Yeah.
but I was dating this girl for a couple weeks,
Yeah.
and she's like, I will do anything you want me to do.
She said that to you?
Yeah, but not like it was just like, I like you, like I'll do whatever you want. And I immediately was
breaks my
like,
heart.
and I was immediately like, yeah, I don't like you.
Yeah, right?
You
You think you're doing the good thing by saying that?
that was the
You're doing
biggest,
wrong
it was
thing.
the biggest turnoff for me.
Yeah.
Not everyone's different, but everyone likes to chase, everyone likes to challenge. Even in a relationship, you got to keep each other on your toes.
Yeah.
If you especially the women out there, stop trying to be so cool. And I say this like the thing I've missed most in relationships for myself personally is like, hey, I have bought a girlfriend a t-shirt that said chill out.
No, Nick, no.
No, it was actually gifted to me. It was
Wait, which girlfriend?
I'm not going to say. It was gifted to me. It had Mickey Mouse, and he was like lying on a shirt, and it said "chill out."
I'm sure that went well.
No, actually, she actually laughed about
Okay.
it. She recognized that it wasn't a strength of hers. My point is like, again, it's a balance, right?
Yeah.
But men do love a girl who can chill, who doesn't make but they also want someone who expects things from them.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna let a football fan watch football all day long, he will. But it's also okay to be like, all right, watch your game. I get it. You're a fan of football, but like, I also want to do this. We have shit to do, babe.
Yeah, and
we
if
have
you're
to go
with
to Target,
if you're expressing your needs with a guy and he acts like you're like the devil incarnate, like that's not okay either.
not okay either.
Yeah.
But if you spend 2 years just being the coolest girl ever and like making him dip in chips while he ignores you and watches football, and then one day you have an issue with it, he's going to be confused.
This is hitting.
So it's just about a balance.
Yeah.
But that's my guess is what's bugging her
Sounds
is
like
that she doesn't like it and she doesn't know how to say it.
And she thinks she's wrong for feeling that way.
She's not wrong.
Wow, we're really changing people's lives, and by we I mean you.
All right, what is your name?
My name is Mackenzie, and I'm unfortunately 40.
That's nothing to be unfortunate
come
about. But
on.
hey, Mackenzie, thanks for pointing it out. And going forward, callers, name and age. That way we just like get off the bat. We don't have to spend a lot of time asking. How can we help you, Mackenzie?
Okay, well, I'll try to make this short. So I've been with my fiance for 7 years.
Mhm.
We started dating in 2012, about 6 months after I got divorced. I also have 2 little girls. Well, they're not really that little anymore, 13 and 11. And And we dated for probably, we dated for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
He proposed in 2017, the day the Eagles won the Super Bowl. So if they wouldn't have won, I don't know. So he proposed, we were together for 5 years, and he proposed the day the Eagles won the Super Bowl. It was his birthday. And
it was his birthday. Okay.
And it was his birthday. And it was just kind of...
Did he have a ring picked out? Or do you?
Yeah,
okay.
He had a ring. It was awkward. Like, he got down after the game was over. He got down on one knee and he said, only one thing could make this day better. And then he just kind of showed me the ring.
I bet you were super hot about the Eagles winning the Super Bowl.
What'd you say?
I'm being sarcastic, but it sounded like it maybe wasn't the engagement you had imagined.
No. Even my daughter at the time was 8 or 9. I can't remember. And she was like, well, are you going to ask her or not? And he's not, obviously not a man of many words. But I guess my question is, I feel like he proposed just because it was the thing to do, or he wanted to get me, not off his back, but it was the next step, or he felt like he didn't want to break up. So it was either get married or break up. And ever since then, every time I try to bring it up and people are constantly asking us, so when are you setting the date? When is it going to happen? When, blah, blah, blah. It's just kind of, he's always just kind of like, I don't know, one of these days. And I've told him I don't care if we go, like, we can go to the courthouse and sign a paper and get married and come home and just say, surprise, we're married, and have a big party at our house and everything's fine. I really, truly don't care. And, I've talked to my friends many times about this, and they've asked me those questions like, well, is it really all about being married, or are you happy just being together and having this relationship? But at this point, I think having my girls, they've been with him, lived with him longer than they have their own dad. Mm-hmm. And there are just some things that are important to me about being married. It's not the wedding. It's certain things that come along with being married to someone.
Like what?
Those, well, if you want a really kind of pathetic answer.
I just want an honest answer.
You'll find this out sometime, Nick, whenever you have children and they bring home papers, and they bring home like 5,000 papers on the first day of school, and they ask who, your child lives with, and you say mom's sister and mom's boyfriend when you're 40 years old. It's kind of weird. And things like, if I were ever to get sick, that I would have my husband, to make certain arrangements for me. Mm-hmm. I know, really sad and depressing things, I know, but just different things like that.
Mackenzie, didn't you say something about your friend getting married and your boyfriend didn't even, was like freaked out?
Oh, yeah, I could go on forever. But
well, I mean, listen, it's safe to say he doesn't want to get married. It's like, that seems pretty obvious, right?
Exactly. And that's the thing. And I just wanted to hear it from you.
You've made it.
I wanted, what is it? Subjective, objective, whatever the point of view is from somebody else who's not immediately involved. I just truly don't think he wants to get married. And he's doing a lot of weird things lately. Like, he forgot that one of his best friends was getting married this weekend. Now, my daughter runs cross country, and she has this huge meet this Saturday that I had to go to. But I was home by like 3:00. I could have easily gotten ready and gotten to the reception, and no big deal. But he acted as though I don't know.
Right.
He didn't tell me about it until Tuesday night and said he forgot about the wedding.
Let me ask.
And then he went and got all dressed up. And
okay, this is fine.
Okay.
Let me interrupt.
Wait.
Yeah, Mackenzie.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I mean, like I said, I'm sure you could go on and on with a bunch of things that bug you. Listen, you have the right to want to get married. I'm not here to tell you it's important to you, what not. I would challenge you to try not to make your decisions, such big decisions in life that are super permanent, potentially, based off what other people think of you. So try not to do that. If you want to get married, get married. Don't get married because you're worried about the social construct of your daughter's mom having a boyfriend. I mean, that's not a reason to get married.
That's not the only reason. I was just being
I'm not
cute.
saying it is, but I just want to point that out. You should, also when it comes to like making arrangements, boyfriends can do that too. They can be legal guardians. All those things. Get married because you want to get married. Now, that aside, your boyfriend, minus his not wanting to get married, so let's just assume he has no real desire to get married. Is he a good partner?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
So, listen,
I mean, sometimes he is. He's hilarious. He makes me laugh. He has good moments. We have fun together. We have good times. But when at the end of the day,
you just have to figure out how much of this marriage thing has become a problem with your relationship. Have you brought it up so much obsessively, and because he doesn't want to get married, he's kind of acting out that way? Or is he just not meeting your expectations, but you've decided, well, I'm 40 and I've kind of dated this guy for so long. So like, fuck it. We're engaged. I'll just marry him. And this is the best I'll do. You have to decide for yourself what, the world you've kind of created for yourself. You have to, listen, I say this and I know, from a social construct and stereotypes, it might feel differently to be a woman at 40 than a man at 40. But part of that too is like, women talk about their maternal clock. You have two beautiful daughters. I don't know if you want more kids or not, but like, shit, if I had two kids, I wouldn't feel I would feel less pressure for myself, because for me, a big part of its desire is to have kids. So if I had kids younger and like that relationship didn't work and I was dating and trying to find my life partner, I feel like I would be a little more patient and more open to like what that partner looks like. You have kids and you have loving daughters. So you have the rest of your life, which is still hopefully a very long time. You're still pretty young to be very selective and have higher expectations about who your partner is. As opposed to just settling on some guy who like thinks it's super romantic to propose on his birthday and when the Eagles win the Super Bowl.
Oh man.
Like you don't have the pressure of finding the father of your children. You've done that, right? And so
right.
Like,
and their father and I, we have a great relationship too. Everything, we get along fine. We co-parent well.
So
everything's fine. I just truly, like you said, I truly don't think he wants to get married, and I don't know if it's specifically me. I think any girl.
Also
he goes in the bedroom every night and plays video games.
Don't let him not wanting to get married have anything like. Again, now you might be stuck in a rut of trying to convince this guy who doesn't want to get married to marry you, and now you feeling like you're not enough, so you're
powerless.
You're stuck in a relationship trying to convince a guy you barely even like or don't feel like your getting needs are met just because you're trying to feel like you're enough. And so
I used to think that way, but I don't think I'm feeling that way anymore.
Listen,
I think it's kind of coming to a head now where I
doesn't want to get married, and it has nothing to do with you.
No, nothing to do with you.
And even if he doesn't want to marry you, that's not reason to let your ego stay in a relationship. You don't have to. You're not looking for the father of your kids. Your kids have a father. You have a seemingly pretty good relationship with their father. You can really be selfish here about the rest of your life and the partner that you really deserve. So like, if it happens when you're 45, then hopefully you have 30 years with this person and he treats you well and he gives you what you need, and then you will be married then, as opposed to like just being married to a guy that like you don't have to worry about your kids at school. Like in what, 7 to 8 years, your kids will be in college and no one's going to give a shit about that? Is that really reason to panic about like what a couple judgy other moms might think? I don't.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit.
I don't think it's about that.
Only you. So I get that you want to be, but it sounds like you're really settling, in my opinion.
Yes.
I agree. No, I agree.
Here's what I think your first step should be.
I do want to be married, and I do want to first of all, blended families are hard,
They are.
man. Like,
Here's what I
they're
think.
really hard. And I do want to be married, and I do want to have a family, but you're right. I don't want to settle into just, we own a house together, and that stinks.
That sucks, but
We're going to have to figure out what to do with that. And, we
manageable.
created a life together, and it's the easy thing to do is to stay and settle, like, like you said, but you can't do that.
Here's what I think your first step should do, short of you just like breaking up tomorrow. And if you want to do that, I support you. But I would just say, hey, listen, Bob, whatever his name sounds.
Are you free tomorrow, Nick?
No.
That's what I want to know.
I'm-
Be a
Never
breakup
mind.
coach.
but you should let him know that, listen, I don't think we should be engaged right now. I want to be engaged with someone who wants to get married, and I'm fine with you not wanting to get married. But the fact that we're engaged with no plan of getting married, it seems a little silly to me. So I would rather just not be engaged.
It's silly.
And then if you want to like see how he reacts and goes from there, maybe that's enough to kick him in the ass and realize it. But right now, again, you're just letting him. You're just waiting for him. So take control and take some of that power back. And some of that power back is saying, I don't need to get married to you. And I'm not going to say yes to an engagement with no plans of getting married. So just start there and point that out. See what he says. If he does panic and react, that's not his actual thought. That's just a reaction. See how he acts.
He won't.
Whatever. I mean, all I'm saying is
He's got too big of an ego. He won't react. He'll
start there. But like, my guess is also because you own a house, you've been together so long, it'll probably get a little messy before you completely sever ties. And you'll probably, if he has an ego and he will probably maybe he'll say mean things or say things that make you feel manipulated and powerless. But I think you should focus on again, think of it this way. You have all the advantages here, right? You don't have, like, other than wanting to get married, which we all do, like, you don't have any other things controlling your decisions. This is not about like, oh, I want to have a family. You have a family,
Right.
This is all about the rest of your life, which is a really long time. So you should be really picky. And then you should feel like, wow, why am I spending all this energy on something that's like, oh, I don't need this. Because you really don't.
Yeah.
Like, you have go get laid by like some guy who's just gonna like not play video games.
Okay.
Fuck around for a while. Shit,
Yeah. Get that gorgeous face out there.
Yeah. Go get some D. Yeah, I feel like you should do that.
Okay.
Stop worrying about what the other moms are saying.
Well, honestly, like I think I worry more about what they say than what they really are saying.
Probably.
Exactly.
But you're still doing it.
Exactly.
So you should stop doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, being married, I feel like a lot of people who are married to people they don't want to be married to, which there's a few out there, would tell you that marrying the wrong person isn't that great. So
Right.
don't try to marry the wrong person. You're trying really hard to marry the wrong person right now.
And marrying him isn't going to fix everything and make everything.
It will make it worse. It'll give him more.
Beautiful.
He'll be like, now she really is stuck with me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully that was helpful. You're going to be great.
It was very helpful. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
I mean, I don't have a huge takeaway other than I feel like we should also just continue to stop spending so much energy trying to do what other people think we should do. And we shouldn't be in such a rush to get the rest of our lives right.
Get it all settled for the rest of our lives so we don't have to worry about
It
anything.
seems so counterintuitive. I'm such in a rush to have forever happen.
Yeah.
If you're going to be in a rush for something that you hope to last forever,
Yeah.
you should probably really take your time.
And it's so interesting too what you said about like she gave her power away by instead being like, oh, he's not meeting my need. She makes it, he doesn't want to marry me. Where instead of being like, no, he's not what I want.
Yeah. I mean,
it's crazy.
But we do that all the time.
We do that.
Because he's like, I don't know if I want to get married. She's just focused on that. And now he has all the power. You're like, I don't know if I want to. Maybe someday. I don't know. I'm going to go play video games. Cool. All right. Well,
Cool.
Let that marinate. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Kendall. I'm 24 years old.
Kendall, 24 years old. How are you doing, Kendall?
I'm good. How are y'all?
So good. How can we help?
So I got engaged about 2 months ago.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
How's it going?
It's good. It could be better, I guess. That's why I'm calling. I've just been, I guess, overanalyzing everything in our relationship since getting engaged, as far as our compatibility and where we want to end up in life and things like that. So I just want to know if that's normal. I don't know. I feel like I should be happier right now than I am. I'm just getting a lot of anxiety, and it's starting to affect our sex life even. So
I don't like using the word normal sometimes when it comes to this, because I don't know if there's no such thing in relationships in terms of what is normal. And I think sometimes we use, we do things or don't do things because, we just want to be like everyone else and we want to be normal.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you get engaged?
Why?
Yeah. I mean, he asked. We love each other. Yeah, sure. Why'd you get engaged?
Because we wanted to get married.
At the time, for sure? Like 100%?
Honestly, a lot of his friends are engaged and married right now, so I feel like he felt maybe the pressure of that.
Okay. Now we're getting somewhere.
It was just kind of the next step.
Did you guys talk a lot about engagement before?
We talked about getting engaged. We didn't really talk about what all that meant, I guess, and what we saw our future to be.
How long were you dating for before you got engaged?
Sorry?
How long were you dating before you got engaged?
Just a year, so not too long.
What do you want to do with your life? Yourself. Thinking totally selfishly, what do you want to do with your life?
Totally selfishly, I'm a hairstylist.
Okay.
I really wanted to open my own salon. I've thought about relocating. I love to travel. I'm very business-minded, so I kind of wanted to invest somewhere in that, invest in my career and see where it took us, or took me, I guess.
Interesting. And does he know this?
Yeah.
How do you feel about his support in your dreams?
So he's also a business owner, and I guess our businesses don't really go together or grow together very well. His keeps us in a small town. Right now I'm commuting an hour and a half to work every day, just to do hair. The town we live in doesn't have a...
Do you feel inside like maybe you are destined for a slightly more exciting life than you are living?
Oh my
gosh. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
Oh no, I'm getting nervous.
Such a normal feeling.
You've never felt that way, have you?
I don't think you should feel wrong about that. Do you sometimes feel guilty about that?
All the time.
Yeah. I don't think you should. Right? I think you can have those feelings and still get married early as long as that person has those same desires. Is it safe to say that he seems a little bit more comfortable with kind of settling down and kind of staying relative to where he grew up, et cetera, and
definitely.
Yeah. My guess is that's probably where your anxiety is coming from. And I don't think you should ignore that. It's not going to change. have you guys talked about this? Are you aware of this?
Yeah, we've talked about it a little bit. Honestly, before we got engaged, I think we both had this moment of panic where I was worried that I'd be stuck in the same town the rest of my life, and he picked up on it.
What did
he
he say?
didn't want me to resent him in the future.
That's good for him to acknowledge. But you might. Okay, so he didn't want you to resent him. What did he? But what was his response to, like, what are we going to do about this?
He basically just told me that with his company, with his business, there was no way for him to move currently or to relocate to a bigger city. And he couldn't even promise within the next 5 years that we'd be moving.
And there's no right or wrong answer for either of you, but whose career takes more of a priority in the relationship?
Right now, his does.
Okay. And when you say right now, do you feel like that could ever change?
So he is in line to take over his dad's company within the next few years.
Family business.
That's it.
So he's not going anywhere.
No.
Unless he decided to take it a different direction, which it's a possibility, but I don't know if
sure, but it's also like not going to happen, most likely. And if it does, like, that's down the road. So you just really need to be honest with yourself about what you really want, and if this is the guy that you want the rest of your life with. That's a long time. You're super young. I don't doubt that he's a great guy. I don't doubt that you love him. And I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you not to ignore or feel guilty about the things that you want for yourself. I think it's okay to be selfish, especially younger in your life, so that you don't, you might resent him in the future. But if he is not willing to actually do anything about it, then maybe you're not the right one for him. Right? If this is the life he wants, he has the right to have that, but he should also be with someone who is happy about that, because that feeling of feeling unsettled or feeling like, you're going to be 30 and just be bored out of your goddamn mind, and you are going to resent them if that's how you feel.
Yeah.
And stuffing it down and putting it away and be like, well, I love him and he's a nice guy. He's a great guy. He provides for me. These are all nice things, and maybe he's a great guy. But if you want something else, then you should look for it. I don't marry him and then resent him. That's not fair to him.
No, I agree.
Yeah. I think you should think about those feelings too. It's also, but listen, there's a balance too. There's always a bunch of different options you guys can have. If you want to marry him and if he's the guy for you and his family business is important, which I totally get. I'm not in that situation, but I can recognize, there's ways of doing things exciting. There's a ways to support you. You could travel a lot. If he really wants you, if he wants you in his life and he wants to respect your dreams and desires, he's going to have to make some considerable effort to make that happen. I don't know what that looks like, but he needs to really go out of his way to make you feel like you're living your best life. He can't just expect you to say, well, listen, I got this family business and this is how we're going to make money, and so you need to be okay with this. He can't tell you how to feel. So there's a world in which he could have his cake and eat it too, but it's going to take a lot of effort and some sacrifice on his part and some selflessness of going out of his way to make your desires a priority and not just expect you to be a happy housewife and the mother of his kids.
That's kind of how it feels right now.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds like, and that's, it can be normal. And in fairness to him, he just probably doesn't realize that. But the only thing I'd tell you is most things don't change. And I would make sure you see that type of actions that you need from him before you get married. I wouldn't base that on promises of down the line, things will change, babe, and let's let me get through this. You need to see it before you get married. Yeah. You're young. I feel like you need to get out of.
Get out of Dodge.
I think you need to get out of Dodge, so to speak.
That's scary.
Yeah, life is scary.
Also, super exciting.
Scary.
I don't regret any of the risks I've ever taken. And it's always scary in the moment. Man, when there were a couple people I thought I was going to get engaged to, and I was convinced, and great people. I'm glad I'm not there. And me personally, I've had an interesting life so far, and there's been ups and downs, and there's been things I've been like, I wish that wouldn't have happened. I'll tell you this much. If I die tomorrow and I die I'm 90, I'll look back and be like, that was pretty cool. That was pretty exciting. There's a balance too, right? Don't be so selfish that you're only thinking about your needs. It's just in a relationship, it's about doing things for each other and supporting. In any relationship, you should both make sure that you're prioritizing each other's dreams. That dream for some people might be being a mom, and that's great. And for other people, it's something else. And for men, it's all different. But expecting someone else to live your dream is not a great way to have a mutually happy relationship, especially if two people decide to get married young. So if you want to get married young, make sure that you're very cognizant and aware of the other people's dreams, and make sure you're going out of your way to help their dreams come true.
Good.
He doesn't seem to be able to or willing to do that right now.
So how would you start that dialogue?
I would just be honest.
Yeah.
I would tell him. Try to do it. It's in a non-threatening way at first. Trust your gut here. I think we talk about that a lot, but it's really important to really feel like he's not going to do it. I also wouldn't be like defensive. You just kind of say, hey, babe, I've been thinking a lot about that. I know we talked about this before. And I get where you're coming from. I do. I support your family business. I understand you want to, but this is what I need and I want. And the truth is, I probably will resent you if this is the life that we live. So, but you also need to start being specific of what you want. And again, we don't know if deep down you feel like you just like, we need to move to New York and just
give it a
do your shit. Then maybe you guys need to not be engaged.
Or maybe you should go on The Bachelor. I think she should be on The Bachelor.
Fine. But what I'm saying is, don't have a conversation with him if deep down you already know the answer to. That's true. Like sometimes like you deep down you might know.
Yeah.
And then you bring it to his attention. You try to figure out, well, what should we do? And you can kind of know. And I'm not saying that's the answer, but I kind of wonder if maybe you do know deep down that there's things that if you could do anything you wanted and you knew that you would be happy at the end, what would you do? Would it be
listen to your heart?
Would it be moving to New York and figuring it out and meeting friends and being poor for a while?
I think
and
that's
just,
the way.
And meeting some random guy in the subway and having him throw you up against the wall.
Stop!
And have some fun. Maybe that's something you think about. And if it is, starting your own salon in an exciting city and meeting some girlfriends and have that sex in the city lifestyle. If you want that, you have a right to have that. And just because your friends decided to have kids, and they have the right to have that. And you both have the right to do that. And none of that is normal or unnormal. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Regret is a real thing. Don't make no mistake. People I don't believe in regrets. Fuck, people have regrets all the fucking time. Mm-hmm. And so it's on you to make the choices for yourself. It's selfish to actually lead people on and pretend you want what they want, and then not be happy. So you just got to be honest. So whatever you do with your fiance, be honest with yourself first. Don't make him out like, and that's what I'm saying is like, if you know what you want, it's not fair to him to get him to think about all these ways he can save a relationship that deep down might not be savable. So I'm just kind of giving you scenarios here, but like, it's hard to know with so much information, and I'm not trying to lead you down a path. I think you just really need to be honest with yourself about what you really want and what's going to make you happy. And as a young 24-year-old woman, you have the right to be selfish. And in the long term, it's selfless to him to do what's right for you, and he has the right to do his thing too.
Yeah.
He's not giving you a lot of flexibility here.
No.
So I hope that's helpful.
It's definitely helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Be honest with yourself first. I'm sensing from you kind of know deep down, and you feel a little bit trapped about.
Don't feel trapped.
Where you're from.
Trapped is a good word. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not though. That's
you're
the cool
definitely
thing.
not
You're
trapped. I've been engaged before. I'm still single, and I'm still alive.
Picking.
So you can get out of an engagement. I know that much. Harder to get out of a marriage. I know that much. Harder still to live this life I feel deep down you want once you start having children.
Oh yeah.
Now would be the time. Don't be selfish when you have 2 kids and are married, and at 30 freak out and lose your shit. What some people do. So don't do that.
You got this, girl.
So you're very beautiful, as Rochelle said. You could probably do anything you want. So
Yeah.
might be the time to do it.
Do it.
You know, get out of your get this. Be selfish early so you can be selfless later.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. That's good advice.
All right. Best of luck.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Be selfish now so you can be selfless later. Put that on a t-shirt, people.
I mean, that's almost like I feel like a dangerous thing to say. So like right now, at any moment I can be selfish because I'll be selfless later. But in her case, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're younger. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
in her mind, she's like, I am too hot for this town and I cannot settle down.
Trapped is the worst feeling, but it's often not the reality.
When are you ever really trapped?
Yeah.
We are a victim of our own prisons we create.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this is a kind of a common one. The family business is a tricky one. There's a lot to live up to, I think, as a young man to try to do that. And I totally get his point of view. I think you have 2 people wanting what they want and pretending that they're interested in what the other person wants. And I think that happens a lot.
Yeah.
And then they're both trying to live up to the expectations of their family and friends around them. It would be unfair to both of them to, it sounds like, maybe get married anytime soon.
Yeah.
She wants to like move to a big city.
Yeah, yeah. And she's going to kill it.
She should move. I said New York, but maybe Dallas if you're listening, or Austin.
Ooh, Austin. Oh, she'll kill it in Austin.
Killing in Austin. I mean, yeah.
Well, what a great episode. Once again.
What a great episode. I don't know if we have an overwhelming takeaway. Overwhelming?
I think it's okay to have needs and do what you want.
Yeah, we'll probably say that a lot. Maybe that is. We talked a lot about being selfish.
Yeah, be selfish, and it's better for everyone ultimately.
In moments, sure, you have to listen. If you don't ever feel like your needs are being met, then you won't be happy. Yeah. And there is a balance, right?
Yeah.
I've selfish. Interesting enough, really selfish people constantly accuse other people of being selfish, and selfless people are always worried about being selfish. Interestingly enough.
Interesting.
Think about it, right? Because if you're really a selfish person, in nature, if you're always thinking about your needs, then anyone who's thinking about their needs seems selfish.
Right.
You're just like, well, how could you possibly expect me to do that, you selfish person?
Let's bring this back to me.
Yeah. And then people who, like our other caller who is so worried about being the cool chick, she's just worried at any moment being like, well, actually, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And is that okay to like be selfish right here?
Bad.
My mom, incredibly selfish person, is not good at saying, I want this right now.
I mean, she has a lot of other people to think about.
And I think it's a challenge for people. And so if you're a selfish dick, don't be. And maybe get better at recognizing other people have needs too. If you're so worried about constantly doing things for yourself, it is okay to be a little selfish from time to time. And that is, once again, just a balance. And then you get to it by communicating.
Well, be sure to send in your questions to asknick@castmedia.com.
Asknick@castmedia.com. Don't forget to rate us 5 stars.
We'll see you Wednesday.
We will see you Wednesday. As always, have a great day.